Wow. Is this thing on? Hold on, let me see. Oh, wow. It's actually on. Hey guys, gals, and Creationality pals. It's amazing here. And I just want to say, this is my first time streaming. Well, not streaming, just going live after almost a actually no, not almost a decade. I've actually done this in like 2019, 2018. If anybody ever remembers me saying anything about Gamer6627, that was my original channel. But now let's actually get to the meat of this video. The Sonic the Hedgehog Crystal Hue fan zones. Now, even though I'm going live, I'm using a certain recorder, so I won't actually be able to see any chat or anything. I'm just recording this live, so I won't have to go ahead and make a giant video and make you sit through the video. You can see the video as much as I go on. Because this is going to be a long video. Once this video is done being live, I am going to go ahead and make like times for it or whatever. So it's easy for you guys to switch to different times. Now, let's go over Sonic Crystal Hue stuff. Now, first, let's go over what the heck is Sonic Crystal Hue. Now, Sonic Crystal Hue was originally called Sonic 5, which was originally called Sonic 4 Platinum Chrome. You can probably already tell why I got rid of those two titles. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't keep Sonic 5. Well, that's because if Sega ever came up with a Sonic 5, which to be honest, I'm pretty sure they already did that with Sonic Superstars, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be the one to keep that name. So Sega's just gonna have to do what they do. And the reason I didn't keep the Sonic 4 Platinum Chrome thing, because it sounds like an extension of Sonic 4. And who wants to see an extension of Sonic 4? Well, except for the people who have been waiting for Sonic 4 Episode 3. So I just went with something a little bit more creative and came up with Crystal Hue. I wanted Sonic the Hedgehog Crystal Hue to be more creative than any other Sonic fan game you've ever saw, which is obviously impossible because every single Sonic fan game has something to offer that's even better than mine. But the thing that makes my Sonic fan zones stand out compared to everybody else's, I think, is probably like the first zone, the fifth zone, and, well, the 10th zone? I want to say, but no, not really. Anyways, let's actually get on to the zones. The first zone is Painted Meadow Zone. You guys have probably seen not an animation. You guys have probably seen me talk about this in one video and also seen me go ahead and make two music tracks. One called Artist Heaven, the other one called Graffiti Grove. Made two music tracks over it. Now, I've been wanting to make this zone, this whole entire game, real for a while, trying to make it an animation, but obviously I can't do that because I'm going to need a better animation software to help the fact that I have way too many animations to do, especially since I have a lot of projects on Flip-A-Clip. Yes, I am still using Flip-A-Clip. Now, Painted Meadow Zone is a special kind of zone because, oh wait, I can't actually tell you completely. It'll be in the next thing. We're on the Sonic Zone list right now. The second zone is Technopolis Zone. This zone used to be called Electronic Science Zone, but I decided to go ahead and change it because Electronic Science Zone kind of sounds like a mouthful. Now we move on to Sweet Trinket Zone. Now here's something weird. Sweet Trinket Zone actually used to be two zones: Candy Street Zone and Toy Station Zone. I merged those together to make Sweet Trinket Zone. I could have just called it Candy Toy Zone, but then I was like, nah, that doesn't fit. Because imagine a zone named Candy Toy Zone. What is a toy candy? So I found synonyms and we got what we got now. Amber Forest Zone. This is the first fourth zone that I've ever made. Not really the biggest fan of fourth zones, unless you know, actually, yeah, I think I might be right about that. I'm not the biggest fan of fourth zones. I mean, Carnival Night, Flying Battery was a fourth zone in Sonic Mania, but that's the only time I like a fourth zone. Labyrinth, Quartz Quadrant. Yeah, the fourth zone doesn't always hit it out of the park unless you count Casino Night or Flying Battery. Or Pinball Carnival. Yeah. I just have a bias. I have a bias towards carnival zones that just makes me just not like them. I think it might have been the Barrel of Doom. Anyways, back to the point. We go on to Soapy Falls Zone. Now, I've never actually seen a person make a soapy zone, because it's probably one of the weirdest things to ever do. But unless there's some person who did it out there already, I think I might be the first. And believe it or not, this zone is actually based off of the World 5 Soapy World from, Bubble World from Super Mario 3D World. No, seriously, just search up Super Mario 3D World, go to World 5, and you'll see what I mean. Now we go on to Watery... Oh yeah, actually, before we even go on to Watery Aqueduct, because I always forget to say this, Soapy Falls Zone was originally Sapphire Lake Zone. And you might have seen that in an earlier video, going ahead and talking about concept art. Now, I don't know how to say this, but Sapphire Lake Zone, somebody already had Sapphire Lake Zone as one of their zones. And I didn't want to step on their territory, even though we're all making original zones. I just didn't want to step on somebody else's territory. So I decided to fall back on that name and come up with a different name. And now we got Soapy Falls. Now let's actually move on to Watery Aqueduct Zone. I know what an aqueduct is, but all of the water areas like Hydro City, Aquarium, stuff like that have all been taken. So I just went ahead and went with Watery Aqueduct. And to be honest, I could have went with wet, gushing, stuff like that. But I had to go with watery. Hey, it's straight, simple, and to the point. Cloud Puff Zone. This is the first zone that's actually based morely off of Mario than anything else. Because Mario always has the 7th world as the Cloud world, except for some other games. I could name a few, like Super Mario 3D World and Mario Wonder, which doesn't have a 7th. Never mind. But I have to say, this zone is really and heavily based off of Mario stuff, with a little bit of Sonic elements in it, especially since you can bounce on clouds and walk on clouds. Never mind. I remember where that's from. Anyways, Royal Tundra Zone. This was originally called Snow Palace Zone. Now, Snow Palace Zone, oh man, Snow Palace Zone was a great idea, but somebody already had that name, so I decided to go ahead and fall back on that and make Royal Tundra Zone. I'd say it's a pretty great name. I wanted to go ahead and make an ice zone while still keeping the feeling of a palace inside of it, which you do go into in Act 2. Now, what's the next one? Oh yeah, Sandstone Desert Zone. Act 2 is really awesome, and I'll explain it in a little bit, but Act 1 is your average sand zone. 10 is Obsidian Crater Zone, and one of my favorite lava zones, even though it's not actually real. Obsidian Crater Zone used to be called Obsidiopolis Zone. Now, I fell back on that name because an opolis is a city that's usually inhabited by people. So that would kind of go ahead and retract Hydro City's statement. But I would call it a Hydro City because it looks like a water city. Anyways, I just decided to change it because it just kept on shaking me the wrong way. And then I went with Obsidian Crater Zone. And now we got Glassy Gearworks Zone. Now I have a lot to talk about this one. It used to be called Gear Gravel Zone, and then it was called Gravel and Gearworks Zone, and now it's called Glassy Gearworks Zone. If I change it again, I'm going to explode. Now, Gravel and Gearworks used to be called... Gravel and Gearworks was based off like some kind of factory over a graveyard. And I decided to fall back on that idea because specifically Act 2 of Soapy Falls Zone is something that is within that area. And you could already tell why I got rid of Graveling Gearworks. One, it's basic, and two, I meant not Graveling Gearworks. I meant to say Gear Gravel Zone. You could understand why I got rid of that. It's basic, and Really? Gear gravel? It's like, that's just not, no. So now we got Glassy Gearworks Zone. And the 12th zone is Excellent Stronghold Zone. This used to be called Negative Egg Zone, but I decided to change it to Excellent Stronghold Zone because Negative Egg Zone just sounded like a zone you'd probably find in a Sonic game. And I want mine to be different from something you'd find at a Sonic game, like Studiopolis Zone. So I went with Excellent Stronghold. Nothing wrong with an egg pun. I mean, Eggman kind of does that all the time. And then we got the Secret Final Zone. Crystallized Climax Zone. Now, this used to be called Perplexing Climax Zone, but I decided to call it Crystallized Climax Zone because I wanted it to tie in with the title. You know how it be. And now, here we go with the Sonic ideas. Going ahead and going for described zones first. Wait, this is a thing? Oh, that's a thing. That is a thing. That's a thing. Wow. I forgot to write the zone entrances for everything, but don't worry, I'm not going to be typing out anything. I'm just going to say it right now, and if I forget what I said before, I can just watch this video again to go ahead and help that. But anyways, the zone entrance for Painted Meadows Zone, Tails and Sonic go ahead and land the tornado, and then jump out of the tornado, and yeah, you appear in Painted Meadows Zone. Act 1 is wonderfully calm meadows with splashes of color and artist equipment everywhere with the sun shining rainbow rays. Act transition, Sonic goes through tall grass to get to the next act. Specifically, he rushes down a slope of tall grass to get to the next act. It's going to be more, it's actually going to be explained in the animation when I make it. The reason I haven't made it is because I haven't made the title screen, the data select, the sound effects, which I could just reuse assets from older games, the mini boss, the special stage. Yeah, it's going to be a whole entire riot. Well, for me. Act 2 is a tall, grassy, and rocky area with even more colors, graffiti everywhere, and an everlasting rainbow in the background, and a sunset, hence Graffiti Grove. The zone transition, or aka the zone exit, Sonic sees a big city with a giant phone at the top of the tower and jumps off a cliff, hinting that he's going there. It'll be more easier to see in the animation. He jumps off the cliff and then he runs towards the city. I have to say this once again after saying that. It'll be more easier to understand in the animation. This zone is based off of Music Plant, Angel Island Zone, Green Hill Zone, Emerald Hill Zone, Bridge Island Zone, and Rock World Zone. Scrapped. I feel like I probably should have added one more zone to go ahead and spice it up a little bit because some of these zones are pretty basic. Yeah, I said it. I mean, what's not to lie about? Some of these zones are basic. I mean, we've seen Green Hill Zone too much, and Emerald Hill Zone is just basically a better version of Green Hill, but it's still Green Hill. But more often than not, I'm a person who will go in and defend these zones. Anyways, let's move on to Technopolis Zone. Zone entrance, you walk down a street to the next zone. Why did I say tutu? I'm not gonna edit that. I'm gonna edit that like out of camera. I mean, not out of camera, out of recording. I gotta remember to fix these things on the document. Act 1, the outside of an electronic city with giant buildings. Act transition, you get transported into an electrical tube and get transported into an electrical building. Through an electrical tube. Man, I did really not think these out. When did I make this? I made this last year. Wow. I really didn't fix much, did I? And I was just fixing stuff before this video. And how did I not see that? Anyways, Act 2, the inside of an electronic building with wires, code, and blank. I meant to put like TVs or something in there because there is a gimmick that I'll go ahead and explain about later. But yeah. Zone exit, Sonic rolls onto a street and keeps rolling until he reaches a techno cycle. Then Sonic drives it all the way into the next zone, Sweet Trinket. Keep in mind that techno cycle I just mentioned is not actually going to be a thing you can ride in the zone. It's going to be a zone exit only. You'd probably wish it could be in there. And oh boy, when I actually figure out how to draw a motorcycle, it'll be looking real cool. I can already see the ideas. But anyways, this zone is based off of Metropolis, unfortunately, Chemical Plant Zone, Scrap Brain Zone, unfortunately, Death Egg Zone, Sonic 2 level scrapped, Studiopolis Zone, Launch Base Zone, Metallic Madness Zone, Wacky Workbench Zone, unfortunately, Casino Night Zone, and Cyber Station Zone. You may have noticed Cyber Station Zone at the end of there. That's because this is a techno zone. Yeah, Cyber Station Zone is actually the first techno zone, believe it or not. And don't call stuff like Death Egg Zone or Studiopolis Zone or Metallic Madness Zone a techno zone. You still go into a metallic facility in there. You don't actually go inside of the electronic. Anyways, Sweet Trinket Zone. Forgot the zone entrance again, but technically you just crash your techno cycle in the sweet candy ground, and then jump off of it as you crashed. Act 1 is a candy road with some toy objects. Don't know what toy objects to put there, though. Act transition, Sonic walks through a door to the next act. Act 2, a toy station with some candy elements. Now, I don't know what candy elements to put in there, but you might have heard toy station. Now, like I said, this zone was actually Candy Street and Toy Station Zone put together. Now, in Act 2, there's going to be so many freaking level gimmicks and obstacles that's going to make it so fun. Then just to let you know, this is a theme. No, this ain't a theme park. This is like a natural zone. Like a zone that naturally has sweets in it, to be honest. But this is like, what's it called? A fair zone. No, I think it is just called theme park zone. A theme park zone. It's like a theme park zone. Like say, Studiopolis Zone. It's a city zone, but to be honest, I like to call zones that go off of something like that fun zones. Studiopolis Zone, Carnival Night Zone, Casino Night Zone. Those are all fun zones. You might call them night zones or casino zones or carnival zones. Yes, I get that. But we have fun in those, right? Well, except for Carnival Night. We have fun in those, right? Yes. So I call them fun zones. A slight deviation from Funland. Anyways, zone transition, Sonic slips down an amber slope into Amber Forest Zone. Sweet Trinket is obviously based off of Studiopolis Zone, Music Plant Zone, Pinball Carnival Zone, Carnival Night Zone, Casino Night Zone, which I was forgetting to put there, and Toy Kingdom Zone. So if you didn't know, Toy Kingdom Zone is from Sonic Advance 3. Now, I looked at Toy Kingdom Zone, and I really only got one idea from there. I didn't get any gimmicks or obstacles from there yet, because I will be bringing back original gimmicks and obstacles like Sonic Mania did, but I just haven't really fully analyzed the whole entire zone. Maybe I shouldn't have just watched the zone. I should have just watched the full playthrough, which would have been the smarter choice, seeing as how I could have got other ideas from there. Anyways, Amber Forest Zone. Forgot the zone entrance again. Act 1, a jungle-like forest with amber tree sap flowing out of every tree. Act transition, runs to the right and eventually slips on some sap down a hill and slowly rolls into a dinosaur fossil's mouth into a cave. Okay, that sentence is just way more complicated than it should be. Act 2, a cave with fossils, sap, and trees growing from under the underground, stretching all the way into the top of the Amber Forest. Now, these special trees are called Amber Oak. Now, unless that's an actual tree, which I probably should have searched up in the first place, Amber Oak are special trees that grow from old dinosaur bones and certain prehistoric fossils and rocks. They grew from that kind of stuff, and they grow all the way to the top like freaking rainforest trees. Now, there is a cave that you can see, like half of them. The roots are actually way underground and probably close to the mantle. I know that's not where dinosaur fossils are. I'm just going ahead and exaggerating it a bit. Anyways, zone transition. Sonic finds his way out of the cave, and then he finds a soapy river where he spots a log raft. Then he rides it down until you get to the next zone, Soapy Falls Zone. This zone is based off of Speed Jungle, Angel Island Zone, Mystic Cave Zone, Marble Garden Zone, Leaf Forest Zone, and Jungle Zone. Yep, that's right. Leaf Forest Zone from Sonic Rush and Jungle Zone from Sonic 1 8-bit. I'm gonna have to be watching a lot of things if I only remember small things from that zone, and it's gonna be a hard time. Anyways, Soapy Falls Zone entrance. You enter the zone by riding a log all the way down a soapy waterfall and landing on the soft ground in front of the soapy waterfall. Act 1, a soapy area with lots of waterfalls made of soap in Chinese village aesthetics. Just to let you know, the waterfalls are not made. Just to let you know, the Chinese village aesthetics are not made of soap. That's what I meant to say. Act transition. Sonic jumps into a pulsating blue bath liquid that teleports you into a different pool of that liquid and to a different act of the zone. What I mean by pulsating is like you ever see a water drop just drop on a flat surface of water? Yeah, that's what I mean. Anyways, Act 2 is a tricky soap swamp with trickles of poison. Wow, I must have got a laugh back then going ahead and typing that. Anyways, zone transition. You find a water cannon and jump in it. Then it shoots you into a wall, which you bust into only to find the next zone. Just to let you know, I might make a world map for these zones to go ahead and help figure out what the freak the zone lineup is. Cause you went from a sweet zone to a forest zone back to a fun zone. It's not really a fun zone. It's more like a ancient kind of zone. To be honest, if we were to, I really need to separate Sonic zones into categories. I bet you that's already been done. But anyways, this zone is based off of Angel Island Zone, Aquatic Ruin Zone, Green Hill Zone, Coral Cave Zone, yes, from Sonic Rush Adventure, Sapphire Lake Zone, the original, and, well, my original, and Azure Lake Zone, the freaking challenge zone. Anyways, Watery Aqueduct Zone, a city-like sewer aqueduct with pipes, ditches, watery rooms, tunnels, and bridges. Okay, that was pretty clever, past amazing. Anyways, act transition. Am I reading that right? A zigzaggy water pipe takes you to Act 2. I thought that said Ziggy and Shaggy. Oh God, I might need glasses. Anyways, Act 2. You're in an underwater aquarium-like pipe yard. Now here's the thing. It's kind of hard to understand, but Watery Aqueduct Zone acts like a sewer system. It's like a castle sewer system. It's not actually a castle. It's just like, say something like the Great Wall of China. It's like something like that. But inside of those walls is like a sewer system. Yeah, this goes places. And we're not even Toyota. Not sponsored by Toyota. Zone transition. Sonic feels a vibration under him. Then a geyser out of nowhere blasts you high into the sky until you reach the clouds of Cloud Puff Zone. Hey, I heard that somewhere. It was from a zone named Hydro and had an ending name named City. To be honest, what isn't based off of Hydro City these days? And I'm not talking about those lone zones that they just decided, oh yeah, let's go ahead and actually renew the water zone. I mean, what zone isn't actually based off a water zone from Sega these days? I mean, look at Lagoon City. It even has a Hydro City note in it. It literally has a bit of Hydro City in it. Anyways, actually, you think I'd be more original on this one? I can't believe this. And Water Aqueduct Zone is one of my original zones. It used to be called Wateropolis Zone. I wonder how I didn't point that out. I decided to change Wateropolis Zone because it sounded too close to a variant of Hydro City Zone. Oh. Hold on. just gotta grab something real here. And then right here. Sorry. This live is really... Okay, there we go. There we go. The screen was dark for some reason. I didn't know why. But now it's good. Anyways, let's actually get back to what we were talking about. This zone is based off of Launch Base Zone, Labyrinth Zone, unfortunately, Aquatic Ruin Zone, Hidden Palace Zone from Sonic 2, Hydro City Zone, Tidal Tempest Zone, Lagoon City Zone, and Coral Cave Zone from Sonic Rush Adventure. And now let's move on to Cloud Puff Zone. Act 1 is a cloudy sky area with tons of bouncy clouds. Wow, that's the most summed up freaking description ever. That's the most summed up freaking short description ever. Act transition, a cloud bounces you up to the second zone. Act 2, a very stormy area with tons of lightning bolts. Zone transition, the clouds have created an ice slide that you get to slide down all the way into Royal Tundra Zone. Now, here's the thing. Clouds, once you reach the capsule, clouds will go ahead and separate and create an ice slide. Specifically, they create the ice slide before they separate, I meant to say. And then you slide down it. And then into the next zone, you just fall into the next zone. Like, it's like how you would treat Hydro City Zone. Now, Royal Tundra Zone. Oh wait, I forgot to say that Cloud Puff Zone is based off of Sky Sanctuary Zone, Flying Battery Zone, Sky Chase Zone, Wing Fortress Zone, Sky Temple Zone, Hilltop Zone, and Sky Canyon Zone. I really only saw Sky Canyon once, and I think it might be from Sonic Rush. I mean, not Sonic Rush. Sonic Adventure. Sonic Advance. Jeez, man. I might be wrong about that. It might be two. But I'm thinking it's one. So I really need to go watch the Advanced Trilogy. Royal Tundra Zone. Act 1 is a snowy castle courtyard with lots of ice. Act transition, Sonic walks into an icy castle. Act 2, an icy castle labyrinth. And I know Char 5 said, why is everything with the word labyrinth in it just complete crap? Come on. This one isn't gonna be horrible. It might be like a maze or something, but it's gonna have gimmicks that are sensible. Chari wants to say the good labyrinth zone of a game. He probably won't think of it, but if I ever make this a game, he's definitely got to look towards this. Anyways, zone transition, and yes, I just spoke about another YouTuber. You go through an icy cave which on the other side you will reach a desert-filled area called Sandstone Desert Zone. Now imagine this. So, Oh no. Oh yeah, it's like a Minecraft thing, to be honest. But so imagine that there's a desert, right? And for some reason, an icy mountain just happened to get even colder and colder and colder until the snow started reaching on the sand. But before the snow could even reach the sand, actually no, not even before the snow could reach the sand, because the mountain, it's like a mountain range. The tundra is blocked by a mountain range, actually. Wow. Anyways, this zone is based off of Ice Cap Zone, Press Garden Zone, Frozen Base Zone, Ice Paradise Zone, Ice Mountain Zone, and Twinkle Snow Zone. Now, I'm pretty sure Ice Paradise Zone is from Sonic Advance, or in the Sonic Advance trilogy, and so is Twinkle Snow Zone. But I think Ice Mountain Zone might be from somewhere else. No, I actually might be wrong about that. Ice Paradise might be actually being Sonic Rush. I'm all over the place here. I really need to go ahead and look up these zones again and then go ahead and talk about them. Sandstone Desert Zone. Act 1, you run through a big desert with sandstone blocks and pillars everywhere. Remind you of something? Act transition, it turns night. I should have made like a cave and it turns night or something. Zone transition at the end of the act. Oh wait, no. Act 2, Arabian Nights inspired desert night act. Well, that's summing it up. Zone transition at the end of the act. He looks in the background to find a volcano with big pools of water beside it. Obsidian Crater Zone is where his next place is. Isn't that kind of typical? A sand zone is usually next to a freaking lava zone. Well, in 2 zones. I mean, in 2 games, not 2 zones. Obsidian Crater Zone. Act 1. A steamy volcano crater with lava and water. Now, there's water pools outside of the volcano, but you're inside of the volcano. Specifically in a place where it's very hot. Act transition, you break a small stone wall to reach a steamy act. Act 2, a sauna cave with lots of boiling water and lava. Believe it or not, I actually got this inspiration, half of this inspiration from Paper Mario Sticker Star. Paper Mario Color Splash, going ahead and giving us Obsidian Crater. Red Pepper Crater. Jeez, man, it's hard to remember everything. Zone transition, a silver travel pipe, aka a silver hyper warp speed pipe. I think that's what it's called. Might have to look at the obstacles again. First of its kind, takes you to graveling gear. I just want to edit this out, but I can't because I don't want to go ahead and make this video even longer because I just want to type things. I know I'm making it long by me just talking, but I don't want to go ahead and make it even longer by typing and stuff. This takes you to Graveling Gearworks Zone, aka Glassy Gearworks Zone. Based off of Lava Reef, obviously, Marble Zone, Quartz Corridor Zone, Mystic Cave Zone, and Golden Capital Zone. Now those zones have lava in them. The reason I didn't say Metropolis Zone is because that's actually hot metal, melted metal. That's not lava. Glassy Gearworks Zone, Act 1, a waste management area with lots of gravel, glass, and metal everywhere, not comma metal everywhere. Act transition, you walk through a glass door into a factory that makes glass. For some reason getting Terraria vibes, because literally you can make everything out of glass in there. Anyways, Act 2, a factory that makes glass and works like a clock. Oh, this is where TikTok clock from Mario kind of comes into play. In this zone, this kind of feels a lot like Press Factory Zone, going ahead and giving off stuff like that. Anyways, and actually I probably should have typed down Press Factory. What was I thinking? Zone transition, Eggman launches his new ship, the Negative. Once again, I forgot that was even there. I really should have went ahead and checked if everything was good before this video. But that makes it even more great to watch since I'm going ahead and realizing mistakes. Sadly, I can't fix them. Before he can escape, you jump onto the ship. Based off of Metropolis Zone, unfortunately, Death Egg Zone, Titanic Monarch Zone, Scrap Brain Zone, unfortunately, and Metallic Madness Zone. Excellent Stronghold Zone, the second to final zone. Act 1, the outside of an Eggman Fortress. Act transition, you walk inside the fortress. No, actually, because the fact that you are inside the fortress already, it's giving off a lot of Death Egg vibes, by the way. Act 2, the inside of an Eggman Fortress. This is actually wrong. I really should change this. Because you're actually inside the fortress already, and then you go deeper inside the fortress. This is like Titanic Monarch and Death Egg Zone, except in Titanic Monarch, you're already outside of the thing. Based off of Death Egg Zone from Sonic 3 and Sonic 2, Egg Fortress Zone, Titanic Monarch Zone, and Scrap Brain Zone, and also Final Zone, unfortunately. Crystallized Climax Zone is all the final zones, Doomsday, Final, Egg Reverie, and Crystal Egg. And now we got the music track ideas. Now we finally get out of describing zones, and then we go ahead and get into music track ideas for certain names. So here we go. Well, you've already seen the artist Heaven, and I really should change that name because there shouldn't be a comma there. And Graffiti Grove. Now we go to Technopolis Zone, giving off the Foam City, Television Town, Sweet Trinket Zone, giving off the Candy Street, the Toy Station, Amber Forest Zone, giving off the Sticky Woods and the Primordial Excavation. I might change some of these music names, but I'm definitely keeping the Primordial Excavation. Soapy Falls Zone giving the Cleaning Waterfall and Extra Soapy Pools. I think I might change both of those. Watery Aqueduct Zone giving us the River Waterways, and Act 2, the Pipe Labyrinth. Cloud Puff Zone giving us Cirrus Land, and Act 2 giving us the Cumulonimbus Storm. I didn't know we need to actually know exactly what those clouds are. Royal Tundra Zone giving us the Cairo Courtyard, which are not in a courtyard until like the final, until the last part of the zone. It's like when you defeat the boss, you actually walk up to the castle doors and do the thing you do in Sandopolis Zone, except you're not in a pyramid. And Act 2 is the Castle of Ice. Now, Sandstone Desert Zone is the Sandy Run. Act 2 is the Deserted Ruins. Obsidian Crater Zone, I swear, it's hard. Sometimes I think that might be other zones. If it wasn't for the sea there, I probably would have thought that's Oil Ocean Zone. Act 1 is the Lava Sauna. Act 2 is the Boiling Crater. Glassy Gearworks Zone gives us the Waste Yard. Act 2 gives us the Glass Factory. And I forgot my own zone name. The Excellent Stronghold gives us the Scrambled Fortress, and Act 2 gives us the Eggman Frontier, while Crystallized Climax Zone gives us the Mystical Finale. Sometimes it's hard to remember my own zones. Gimmick and obstacle ideas. Now, do I want to go ahead and talk about these? Yes, this is a live stream after all, so I'm going to talk about every nook and cranny about this whole entire document right here. This document right here. Now, keep in mind this is going to be long, so either you put this to times 2 speed, I would suggest it. I'm not going to get offended in any way, or you should just go ahead and get a sandwich while you're at it if you're watching this stream. Now, I really hope people are watching the stream, because if people aren't and this video gets uploaded, it's gonna be a thrasher, man. Anyway, and I say thrasher because I'm pretty sure that's one of the guitars used in Press Garden Zone. Anyways, let's actually get to the point. In Act 1, we got a Rainbow Water Run. If you remember in the cutscene of Sonic CD, the first cutscene of Sonic CD, where he runs across water and rainbows come up. That's what happens when you run across water real fast in Painted Meadows Zone. And don't worry, I won't be reading all of the gimmicks unless I absolutely have to. Tutorial signs. So tutorial signs will only appear in Act 1, but you can turn them off just in case you're playing them again. They will automatically turn off when you beat the final boss. Clover blowers. Propellers shaped like clovers that blow you in a certain direction. Slinger trees. Now, basically, I don't have to read that. I do have to say this, though. You just go ahead and jump onto the tree, flick the joystick in the opposite direction that you're facing, and you'll fling forward. It's basically like something you fling forward. It's like a freaking slingshot. Wall spikes. Now, this was actually an idea from somebody else, but I didn't think it would be that good in the game at first, but this would be good for in the zone at first, but this would be good for like secrets. If you wanted to find secrets or anything, you probably wouldn't be able to reach them without like certain things, certain moves or something. Like, say, if you're at a slope, which you can jump off slopes and get like high advantage. It's in every Sonic game, but if there's like wall spikes and you think you could just jump up there, you're gonna have to use the slope to jump up there. You can't just jump up there yourself. Now let's actually get to the rainbow bridges. They're basically like bridges that make music as you walk across them. Whew. Act 2 gives us colored raindrop. So let's actually get to this. Paint splashes of paint in areas of the zone. If you run across the splashes of paint at top speed, you will splash the paint up, in which you will change your shoe and glove color. You won't change color yourself because everybody loves to see that nice blue hedgehog. And let's actually get back to the colored ring drop. When you get hit, it'll drop a different color of rings. Basically the same color that your gloves and shoes are. So like say if your gloves and shoes are green, the rings are green. Colorful invisible platforms. Platforms that can only be seen when your shoes and gloves are the right color. I probably shouldn't have to explain this, but I'll explain it anyway for people who are still confused. Basically, if you have red gloves and red shoes, you'll be able to land on red platforms, but not blue platforms or any other color. Paint barriers and paint tubes. Certain types of paint tubes can change your glove and shoe color when you go through them. Yeah, it's basically a way to go ahead and automatically change the color for you. Wash of water. Run in water in this act specifically, and you will wash off the water. Wash off the water. Wash off the paint off your gloves and shoes. I can't believe I said that and didn't notice. Anyways, painting canvas. As you run, you will come across the painting above some paint puddles. When you run across it at top speed, you will splash paint on it and make art. Now, I probably could have just put that you can paint graffiti on the walls, but I decided to go for a canvas for something different. And no, this is not my idea. I just decided to mold it to make sure that the idea made sense a little bit. I probably should put it over the pool, or just like when you get out of the pool. Painted loop-de-loop. A grass loop-de-loop painted with mystical colors. That'll be in both acts, by the way. And now that's all the ideas I have for these zones. For this zone, if you have any ideas on anything I could put in painted metal zone, I will gladly accept them. But you gotta remember, it's a first zone. And also it follows by a strict artsy stuff kind of rule. Like say a paintbrush that will bounce you somewhere. I'm not saying that's a good idea because to be honest that seems like too much to draw. Anyways, we move on to Technopolis Zone. Act 1, high-speed electric warp tube. Yeah, I was right. I said high warp speed. High-speed warp tube. That's what they are. High-speed electric warp tubes. Now, I want to go on and talk about high-speed warp tubes. Now, you've seen them in Chemical Plant, Metallic Madness, even in Studiopolis Zone. Now, those ones are just called high-speed warp tubes, but I like to call them high-speed electric warp tubes since when you go through them, you turn into electricity. And that'll be the same thing that happens in here. That's the one idea that's from Studiopolis Zone that goes in here. Beaker Blaster. Jump into the beaker to make chemicals mix and bubble, which launch you right into the sky. It's like basically a chemical cannon. Oh, that would have been a better name. Beaker Blaster, chemical cannon. Oh, wow. Electrical water dripping from above. It usually rains in this zone, but when it's not raining, which is right now, it always has an aftermath of droplets to get in your way. If these electrified water droplets hit you, you will get electrified and lose your rings. Avoid them at all costs, specifically if you're under a roof. And yes, it will rain every now and then in that specific act. Now, here's what I'm really happy to talk about, because me and one of my friends actually thought of this. He was actually giving a fire take. TV travel, a gimmick where you are transmitted into a TV like a Studiopolis Zone, but instead of breaking out of a TV instantly, you actually stay inside the TV for some of the zone, and you go through different TV genres. It might feel like Act 2 is a little bit longer, but that's what Chemical Plant Zone felt like specifically in... No, both zones are fast. Flying Battery Zone Act 2. That's a good example. Genre 1. Romance. Like a romance movie where the two lovers are completely pitch black while kissing, Sonic will run through a pitch black foreground while a sunset shows in the background. Genre 2. Also, I kind of realized that there's way too many sunsets in this game. I mean, there's already 2. That's way too many sunsets. Genre 2, sci-fi. A dinosaur is on the hunt. This is a chase scene to the end. Basically, outrun the dinosaur. If the dinosaur gets closer and closer, let's just say you have enough rings. And I would make this an instant death thing, but It's the second zone. Instant death things shouldn't happen except for pits, which aren't in the zone to begin with. Genre 3, comedy. You are in a little studio, and every time you get hit, an audience laughs. Every single time you collect a life, you get an applause. Yeah, those are the only 3 genres we're doing. We could do stuff like action or something like that, but some of those genres already have something to do with Sonic already. Electric buttons, the thing to turn on the TVs in this zone. This act could have way more ideas in it. But for now, it's just not having a lot. If you have any ideas for Technopolis Zone, I would love to hear them. Electric ring dispenser plugs. Plugs that dispense electric rings and slowly fall into sockets. Now, they were originally just electric ring plugs that would just disappear as they touch the ground. But as I thought about it, it might look like you could just collect that ring. So I decided to go ahead and make it look like it's going into a plug. High-speed electric warp tube loops. Same thing that happens in Studiopolis Zone, where you can go ahead and use that tube as a loop-de-loop. Yeah, a lot of things I'm having to mention. Sweet Trinket Zone. Now this one has a lot. Let's go over them. Act 1 has Jelly Glob, an obstacle to slow you down while traveling through it. You can also jump in the direction you want thanks to the precise jumping mechanic in the Jelly Glob. Oh yeah! So it's basically like, say, gelatin. If you run through it, it'll slow you down a little bit, but you can jump on it. Breakable chocolate floors and walls. I don't have to explain that. You can just break through them. Anyways, jelly area. It's basically like the jelly from Chemical Plant Zone, just like in a pool or something like that. Cake roads. The ground will usually be made out of cake, which, to be honest, is the regular terrain for this zone, so I don't know why I needed to write that as a gimmick. Star Cookie, acting like a saw blade. This will hurt you while standing in a specific area. Like, say, if you were standing in front of it while it was spinning, if you were standing way too close to it to the point where it might actually hit you, yeah. And keep in mind, these stars go back and forth. Lollipop Wrecking Ball. A lollipop that swings from side to side. Try not to get hit by it. Soda Pop Water. Blue water spots that are actually soda. Okay. Act 2 gives you a toy hammer. It's basically just a toy hammer that is usually above and out of the way of you passing by. But if you need to jump above it to get stuff, you will probably get hit by it swinging. The Stationizer 2.0. So these things act like high-speed warp tubes, except they're tubes in a way, except you ride down train tracks when you go down them. And you don't actually go through a tube in there. You go through like some kind of arch, which goes ahead and rings a bell, and then as you go down the train tracks, you hear chugga 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 choo choo over and over again. And then once you get done going through the area, you hear the train whistle again. Bubblegum blocks, tiny squares that seem like background elements, but when you step on them, they instantly blow up to make platforms. It's like going ahead and I shouldn't make them background elements. Block paths. The path, I do not need to go ahead. That's like the actual terrain for Act 2. You know how the terrain will sometimes change in certain zones? Yeah. I don't know why I need to write that down. In both acts, you will find a candy cane loop-de-loop. A candy cane path that is like a loop, but you swirl around the candy cane loop. It's like those things in both Mushroom Hill and Studiopolis Zone, where if you go down, if you're on a certain path, I think the high-speed warp tube path, you can flip from certain areas. Flip from one side to the other. Popsicle platforms. They don't melt, but they do come in from time to time on a popsicle platform holding conveyor to transport popsicle platforms to another area. Sonic uses them as conveyor platforms. Yeah, just platforms that go on their own conveyor. and you don't have to worry about running. But you do have to worry about jumping. Jumping, gum landers. Just like handles in Flying Battery Zone, these will let you hang on to them, but you will fall down if hanging on for too long, like 3 seconds. Unlike Flying Battery Zone, you can swing using them and make jumps from left to right, or just let go if you want to. You usually let go by holding down and just pressing A. Twisty Hand. Dash into the hand and go up a level or down a level. It's like that thing in Speed Highway. Yeah, that just takes you up a level or down a level. Oh yeah, Party Poppers. I forgot to give those. And gelatin is basically this thing up here, the jelly glob. Party Poppers. You jump into the Party Poppers and they pop. They go ahead and pop, sending you up. It's like those things in Golden Capital Zone, where if you go through them, they give you rings while also shooting you into a certain direction. Block Road Slopes. A slope made out of block road connectables. Oh yeah, like Legos. Twist. Oh wait, I already read that. Piano. A piano. Originating from Sonic Advance Music Plant. So there's 2 things that you walk on that make music. Interesting. Amber Forest Zone. Okay, this one's going to be a pretty quick one. Sticky Tree Sap Floors. Basically, if you go ahead and run on these floors, they will slow you down a little bit. But but they're usually at the end of like pits or something. So yeah. Tree trunk swirly slides, aka spiral slides, not swirly slides. They're like the ones from Leaf Forest, from Sonic Rush. Sap pools. If you don't mash the A button, you will face instant death at the bottom of the pool, like the tar pits or mud, whatever it was called in Marble Garden Zone that you could fall through. Sticky Sap Slopes. What's weird about these slopes is that you can... Hold on. Huh? Oh, you can go fast. Okay, I understand now. You can go fast down the slope, but you can't go up the slope. Or you go slow up the slope, actually. Sticky Tree Sap Walls. The one thing to help you wall jump in this game. Actually, the only thing to help you wall jump in this game. Wooden breakable platforms. I don't have to explain that because it just says it for itself. Soapy Falls Zone. Yeah, for a zone so creative in its creative ways, it really doesn't have a lot of ideas rolling for it. And any ideas for Amber Forest, Sweet Trinket, or Soapy Falls, I would love to hear them. No, seriously, I'm kind of asking for help on this one, since making ideas is not the easiest thing, especially because ideas have to come to you. Bubble blowing lifters, bubble blowing machines that when you jump into a bubble, you're lifted into the air. I really could have gave this a better name. Moving jade platforms. They're basically platforms that pop in from time to time. Or actually, they're invisible platforms. So if they're visible, you can't go through them, but you can jump on them to usually illuminate them. But if they're invisible, you can go through them. Poison pool. I'm really hoping I said that right. Poison pools and poison soap dispensers. I don't need to look at this. And I don't need to look at this for this one because I really just want to go ahead and describe it. So basically, oh snap! What the? Oh, sorry. Basically, there will be soap dispensers that might either dispense soap. There will be poison pools that if you use a soap dispenser and dispense soap on it, it'll turn into a soapy pool. Basically going ahead and taking that idea from Chemical Plant Zone Act 2. Yes, I have taken a lot of ideas from certain Sonic games and turned them into a different thing. It's called recycling. Sega does it all the time. And now we got bubble fluid and bubble pools. Now, here's the benefit about those soapy pools. Certain soapy pools, if there's a pink soapy pool, it'll go ahead and make bubbles. And it'll go ahead and let you go all the way up. Yeah, basically it's those bubble blowing lifters from Act 1, except now they spawn naturally. Ghostly Jade platforms. It's basically the moving Jade platform idea, but different. Slopey waterfalls. Waterfalls that make you go down fast. It's like the slides in Hydro City Zone and Lake Lagoon City Zone, except these ones are actually natural. Sponge platform. A platform that when you walk on it, you go pretty slow. But it's used to block incoming water. You can jump through it, though. Anyways, watery aqueduct zone. Water guns. Get in the water gun to be blasted towards a different direction. It could be diagonal, vertical, or horizontal directions. Basically, the shotgun from, what's it called? Mirage Saloon Zone. Water currents and propellers, like from Hydro City and Lagoon City. Oh yeah, those. Water funnels and high-speed water pipes. So, I want to say the funnels are from a Sonic Advance game, which got turned into something from Studiopolis Zone. You know those funnels you roll down around in? These funnels will be like you get swirled around in water. And these high-speed water pipes will go ahead and shoot you out the other end like a water gun or something. Water hoser and water spray grinding. So, this one I've been waiting to talk about. So, there will be this certain water hose that's spiraling from a water supply. Don't worry about the water supply. Worry about the hose. Now the hose will shoot water endlessly, and just like Vines from Speed Jungle Zone, you can grind on water for the first time ever. Grind on water. It might not make sense at first, but it's freaking Sonic the Hedgehog. When has anything ever made sense besides the gravity? 1, 2, 3 bubble button puzzle. Yeah, basically you have to hit the buttons in the right number order. It's basically that one thing from Golden Capital Zone. Flipping grates. While you're holding down on them, press a jump button on the grates to switch from pipe yard to aquarium. And no, this is not based off of that. This is not based off of that one game where you go ahead and think if you're suspicious or not. I'm not saying it because I'm not bringing back any memes. No way, no how, not a chance. Water cannons. A giant hardened water balls are being shot towards your direction. Dodge them quickly. They're basically cannons, except they don't hurt you unless you get pushed back and hit the wall. High-speed spiral tube. Yeah, there will be high-speed water tubes that act like spirals. And then, yes, that's the thing. High-speed spiral tubes. They appear in Carnival Night Zone, Chemical Plant Zone Act 2. Yeah, they appear. Cloud Puff Zone. Act 1, Puffy Clouds. Puffy Clouds will bounce you... yeah, I don't need to explain that. Up and down castle turrets. Turrets that'll shoot 3 shots, then move up or down depending on if it's already in one of those directions. I think that's like in a sky section. Gondola. Like from Hilltop Zone, but these go a lot faster than your normal gondola. And they don't break. That's what I meant to write down. Act 2, a quad day loop. A cloudy road for loop-de-loop in 1. It's going to be really hard to draw that. Hold on. I just got to do the math real quick. Yeah, I did the math. Wow. It's going to be just hard to do. I mean, it could just be a giant loop-de-loop, which would be hard to do. Cloud teleporters. Teleporters with a cloudy aura around them. Oh, hey, it's Sky Sanctuary Zone. Fans. Hello, Starlight Zone. Electric Box and Electric Wires. Hello, Mario Odyssey. Now, if you hit these boxes, if you hit these boxes and then jump into them again, you get transported through a certain wire and then shot out the other end. That's basically the spark pylon from Mario Odyssey. And also, that could have been good in Technopolis Zone, but I decided to do it there because peanuts. Anyways, Act 1 gives us snowboard sections. Hello, Ice Cap Zone. Retracting ice spikes line. A blue highlighted line that has retractable ice spikes coming out of it. Act 2 gives us snowflake saw blades. Just like the star cookies, these ones, well, while being delicate, because if you go ahead and are an ice block and get pushed towards there, yes, there will be ice blocks just like in Press Garden Zone Act 2, you will break them. For the first time, something that's spinning and can actually hurt you, you can break. Ice blowers. Ooh. Ice blowers. Just like in any Sonic game, you freeze them, you get frozen by them, and yeah. But this time you don't move if you're on a flat terrain. But if you get hit by an ice blower on a slope, yeah, you start moving. Basically what Act 2 usually gives. Ice turrets. Now, these will go ahead and encase you in ice, but these encase you in a certain kind of ice that when you break out of it, if you don't break out of it actually, you get hurt. The ice blowers will just freeze you enough so you can break out of it and not get hurt. The ice turrets will shoot directed ice spikes at you that'll freeze you. Falling icicles, really don't need to explain that. 3D ice block. I guess they're the blocks that push in and out like in Press Garden Zone. And ice spikes. Sandstone Desert Zone. Wow, not a lot here. Act 1, sand slides. The good old sand slides from Sandoble Zone. I don't know why I'm suddenly from the country now. No. Quicksand pools. Don't need to explain that because everybody already knows. Breakable sandstone blocks. Okay. I only skipped this because everybody knows what these are already. And oh boy, do I have a lot to say about Obsidian Crater Zone. Water and lava switches. Now, there will be blue water and red lava. Yes, you already understand that. But there will be a switch that switches the water or lava to stone, depending on what color the switch is on. If the switch is red, it'll switch water to stone. If the switch is blue, it'll switch lava to stone. Steam blasters. These little steam blasters will blast up and down. Find the right timing to go ahead and dodge them because they will hurt you. Propeller springs. Springs that stay in the air due to a propeller keeping it up. Basically a way to go ahead and help you bounce because there will be like a lot of problems. There will be a lot of like space in that zone. There won't be very narrow paths unless there has to be. Fire geysers. Like from Lava Reef Zone and other zones. Fire geysers are a dangerous obstacle. Sapphire slides, being the only way to help you walk on boiling water. You slide down these slides and then you gain enough speed to walk on the boiling water. These aren't technically enough to help you go across the water, but these are usually across any pools of boiling water. High-speed golden steam-powered warp tubes. Now that's a mouthful. These golden travel pipes are steam-powered, so once you travel through them, it'll steam-power you all the way through the other side very fast. Sauna waterfall. Sauna water, it's just a waterfall that's hot. Boiling pools of water and hot pools of water. So basically, boiling pools of water are the only pools that have lava under them, while just hot pools of water will just be hot. Yeah, every single drop of water in that zone is hot. But anyways, you can walk through hot pools of water, while boiling pools of water, you will hurt if you even walk on it. It's like lava, except it makes less sense. Actually, steam geysers. When they burst, touching them from the side will hurt you. If you jump on top of the blast, you'll be boosted upwards. And now we go to both acts. Amethyst loop-de-loop. Yeah, these are basically just amethyst loop-de-loops. If you touch the end of them, which is pointy, you will get hurt. Even though... sorry there. Just something, a problem had to do. Anyways, yeah, I had to go ahead and deal with a certain text real quick. Anyways, diamond spikes. Diamond spikes that are super sharp and diamond hard. They cannot be broken whatsoever. Geode spike balls. A hardened geode with amethyst spikes coming out of it. For the first time you ever see amethyst spikes. Emerald spinning platforms. They aren't chaos emeralds, but they sure are shiny emeralds. They just spin you round and round like those things in what's it called? Oh yeah, Wacky Workbench Zone, and also in Press Garden Zone. Spiral walkway, just like in Lava Reef Zone. It's just a walkway that's spiral. Act 1 gives us metal spiral slides, which you will go ahead and turn into a ball down. Act 2 gives us high-speed glass warp tubes. It's just like what it sounds like. Giant gears, like the ones from Metropolis Zones, and saw blades. Yeah, saw blades. Pools of acid. Walking in these pools of acid will insta-kill you, so I suggest not trying to touch any pools of acid. For the first time, a liquid actually insta-kills you that isn't water after a while. This will actually kill you on contact. Gear loops. A gear in the middle of the loop will slowly rotate around while you are inside of one of its pockets. Once you get to the end, you get a super burst of speed as you go through the loop-de-loop. Yep, warning signs. Specifically in this zone, there will be warning signs to tell you what is good to walk through and what is not. Corkscrew, just like from the originals, Sonic 2, and conveyor belts. It's kind of weird how I decided to put corkscrew in here, but I put corkscrew in here because it sounded like it's a metal kind of thing, even though it usually appears in, Act 1s and certain other zones. I wanted corkscrews to be in almost every level of this, but I decided to only choose like 1 or 2 levels. Because it just kind of seems weird to be having a corkscrew and stuff like this. And, well, in many places. So I chose 2 zones. I'm probably going to say it later. Excellent Stronghold. Act 1 has sharp fans. Basically fans that blow you in a certain direction. And if you go towards the bottom of them, or the side of them, you will get hurt. But you can damage boost through them. Lasers. Just lasers. And that's all of the freaking gimmicks, except for the layout affected gimmicks, like loops and breakable platforms, even though I already said some of those. Every zone will have loops except for... Actually, I think I'm going to give loops to Excellent Stronghold Zone. Breakable walls in every zone besides Technopolis Zone, Soapy Falls Zone, Watery Aqueduct Zone, which to be honest, yes, it should have that. Cloud Puff Zone, and Excellent Stronghold and Crystallized Climax. Corkscrew. Painted Metal Zone, I don't think I want to have Corkscrew. Because I know it's the first zone and everything, and almost every zone should have something that's like a corkscrew, but I want it to be different a little bit. So no, it should not have a corkscrew. In Soapy Falls Zone, I guess I was debating on whether or not I should put a corkscrew in there, and no, I'm not going to put a corkscrew in there. Even though that would be fun, I decided to only put the corkscrew in 2 things. Oh, did not mean to do that. Anyways, Infinite Section. There will be only 2 zones with an Infinite Section. Glassy Gearworks Zone and Soapy Falls Zone. Now, I don't think I want Soapy Falls Zone to have an Infinite Section. I think other zones kind of deserve that title. Anyways... Tunnels, Painted Meadow Zone, Amber Forest Zone, Soapy Falls Zone, Watery Aqueduct Zone, Royal Tundra Zone, Obsidian Crater Zone, and Glassy Gearworks Zone all have tunnels. High Speed Warp Tubes, Technopolis Zone, Watery Aqueduct Zone, Royal Tundra Zone. Wait, I thought I saw No, wait, no. Royal Tundra Zone does not have any of those. Obsidian Crater Zone and Glassy Gearwork Zone, including Excellent Fortress Zone, have high-speed warp tubes. 3 zones with high-speed warp tubes, side by side, and that's something to go ahead and write home about. In every zone, the only zones that don't have water sections are Technopolis Zone, surprisingly, Cloud Puff Zone, Sandstone Desert Zone, Glassy Gearwork Zone, Excellent Stronghold Zone, and Crystallized Climax Zone. It's no surprise that doesn't have that. And Water/Slippery Slides. Technopolis Zone doesn't have that. Sweet Trinket Zone doesn't have that. Cloud Puff Zone doesn't have that. Excellent Stronghold doesn't have that. And Crystallized Climax doesn't have that. It's kind of hard to say these words. And now we move on to enemies. Doggo Roller. When it wheels itself forward and will charge at you if you get too close. Basically the Rhino bot. He is very vulnerable to any attack, so just spin at him. Or basically just jump on him. Also, he will get tired after dashing at you. Color Pillar. This Caterpillar Badnik is basically just like the Caterpillar, except they don't separate when you jump in the middle of them. And actually, you can hit these enemies anywhere. These are basically just useless Caterpillar enemies to hit anywhere. Bowl Poppers. I forgot to go ahead and write a weakness to these enemies, but they're basically mole badniks. They will drill out of either walls or floors, and they will go ahead and shoot energy pellets at you. Basically, avoid the energy pellets and hit their heads. It's for them to stop shooting stuff at you. Octopaints. In Act 2 of Painted Metal Zone, where you usually change color, these guys will shoot paint at you to change your gloves or shoes. Go ahead and avoid the paint balls and then spin attack them quickly too. The PC Chippertick. These tick-like PC chip enemies jumps and wow, this is just a lot to take in. The PC chip enemy jumps in the air with electrical shocks. Basically, if it lands if it lands on Sonic, or if Sonic hits him while he's jumping up in the air, electrifying everything, Sonic will get hurt. Wait until it's on the ground after it jumps to hit. Electric Wire Worm basically acts like that electric eel enemy Badnik in Lagoon City Zone. Wait till the worm isn't sparking to hit it. Electric Robotist. It's basically an electric guitarist, but this is actually a boss I forgot to go ahead and write about. Besides just going in and writing how it is. In Sweet Trinket Zone, Gummy Fish. They'll swim just like choppers, and if they see you in the water facing you, or if they see you forwards, they will shoot pellets at you or whatever, energy pellets. But if you're above them, they will go ahead and just jump out like choppers. Basically, when they are above, hit them to destroy them. But if you are ever in the water, just dodge and spin attack them before they can shoot you. Cymbal Monkey. Dang it, I forgot to write something for that. Wind Up Sonic and Conductor Eggman. I forgot to write Wind Up Toy Sonic. A Wind Up Toy Sonic will follow you like the Metal Sonic boss from Sonic Mania, except it won't fly through the air, it'll just follow behind you. However, this one will follow you, but will not be able to be hit directly because it is always spinning. While you try to run away, Eggman will be shooting out missiles in a direct lock-on spot from a moving train on a track. Yeah, basically, Eggman is riding a train to defeat you. You need to try to trick Eggman into locking onto Wind Up Toy Sonic, because Wind Up Toy Sonic, just like you, is vulnerable to Eggman's missiles. Get in the right position to ensure Eggman locks onto Wind Up Toy Sonic, and then wait for the missile to hit Wind Up Toy Sonic. Yep. In Slippy Falls Zone, you'll find Dracoflare, a dragon-like enemy who floats in the air while wiggling its body. It's basically like, I don't know where I got that idea from. He will breathe fire when you are near and recharge his flames after a little while. Just hit his face when he is reheating itself, and you will have destroyed the Badnik. And there's one more. There've been two more. Bublobber and Chromablob. A blob made out of liquid metal that changes into four shapes. I wanted to go ahead and say this, but if it changes into a star, you can't hit it. If it changes into a triangle, you can only hit it from the side. If it changes into a square, you can't hit it at all. But if it changes into a circle, you can hit it anywhere, which is its usual base form. And then we got animal ideas. In Painted Meadow Zone, you'll find Flicky the Bluebird, obviously, and you might find Pally the Puppy. And what's it called? How did I forget the zone name already? Technopolis Zone. You will find Callie the Cat and Robbie the Raccoon. In Sweet Trinket Zone, you'll find Pocky the Rabbit and Picky the Pig. Yes, that is his actual name, Picky the Pig. In Amber Forest Zone, you'll find Becky the Bear and Wacky the Monkey. Yes, those are both two real animals. In Soapy Falls Zone, you'll find Riggy the Red Panda and Poppy the Panda. In Watery Aqueduct Zone, you'll find Axie the Axolotl, yes, and Rocky the Seal. And I just had realized that some of the animals reappeared throughout the zones, but I don't really care. I want to give every animal, new animal, their own chance. In Cloud Puff Zone, Locky the Eagle returns with Squicky the Flying Squirrel as one of its friends. In Royal Tundra Zone, Breezy the Polar Bear and Pecky the Penguin appear. In Sandstone Desert Zone, Lackey the Lion Cub and Betty the Cow appear. In Obsidian Crater Zone, Packy the Flamingo and Cookie the Chicken appear. In Gear Gravel Zone, Vicky the Fox appear and Mickey the Mouse. By the way, that's its actual name. I'm not going ahead and stepping on Disney's territory or anything. That's its actual name. And in Excellent Fortress Zone, you meet Stocky the Skunk and Batty the Bat. And now let's go on to Sonic Zone concept art. Now, I've been going ahead and holding back from actual good looks besides text for a while. And now we get to this. Painted Meadow Zone. So basically, this is just explaining certain things. This is what the paint will look like down slopes. Yeah, this is me. And also, this is bad drawing, by the way. Clover blowers, tree slingers. The image for when you load in Painted Meadow Zone. The tunnels, the signs, the tutorial signs, the loop-de-loop different. It's all just weird. Sandy Run Zone. I forgot to say this is actually the first zone. I decided to scrap it because I feel like I could have done a better zone. Now, Electronic Science Zone. This is the only image that you'll be able to see of Electronic Science Zone. It was even supposed to have teleporters in it, but I decided to remove that idea while also removing something that has something to do with TV teleporters, because that was in Studiopolis, and I also decided to remove the tube because, bro, this looks way too much like Studiopolis. Oh yeah, and here's the electric ring thing. Sweet Trinket Zone. This is what Sweet Trinket Zone's background was supposed to be, but I was unable to finish it because I was just too bored. But this is what it looks like. Looks pretty cool, don't you think? And then we got the Sweet Trinket Zone actual platforms and everything. There's the star, some kind of jelly glob. Oh, that's what that jelly glob was. But now I'm going to change that to something else different. Here's the Candy Cane Loop-de-Loop, the chocolate breakable walls, and that jelly floor thing. Candy Street Zone. Yeah, here's what Candy Street Zone looked like. The jelly floor, the star cookie, the bubblegum wad, the jelly glob, the freaking hammer that swings round and round, the freaking candy cane loop-de-loop thing, and the popsicle platforms with all the breakable chocolate floors. And then we got Toy Station Zone. There's the Stationizer 2.0. And then there's the train. Actually, this is the Stationizer 1.0. You can tell because what the freak. This looks awful, man. And then there's just a weird platform there. And also this is the boss. Wind Up Toy Sonic. With Eggman shooting directly at Wind Up Toy Sonic. And I don't know why. And also, can you see that? That's actually Knuckles in there. Why did I put Knuckles in there? I guess he skips this act. And there's a pool of water. I don't know why I put that there. And here's Sapphire Lake Zone. Yep. Did I put down every single... Hold on real quick. Just have to see something real quick. Did I put down everything? Yeah, I put down everything. I think. No, I did not put down everything. How do I... Nah, I don't need to put it down. Because I'll go ahead and put... No, I can't just like put a picture on it because I'm not recording this. This is the 3rd zone. This is like the 10th or 7th zone. I said I wouldn't do this, but I'm gonna have to do this anyway. Let me just go ahead and that's not what I meant to do. I really could have just edited all the text, to be honest, but I didn't want to go ahead and have to edit any text because, you know, I did not want to make the video longer than it already is. So I go ahead and grab this. This is what Ember Forest Zone was supposed to look like in the background. This just looks like way too much to be an actual zone. I will be editing that background a little bit more so you can see a little bit better. I will be making the other backgrounds besides just Painted Metal Zone Act 1, Act 2, and that's it. But I'm working on making the other music tracks first. Again, here we go, Sapphire Lake Zone. Yeah, this one was pretty, and there's the sponge platform actually. This one was pretty different than your usual zone. There's even the Draco Flare. And yeah, but here we go, Snow Palace Zone. You cannot see what the freak is going on in there. You can probably see a crystal that looks like it's from freaking Kirby's Epic Yarn. And that's the thing. Having the things in this game game idea were kind of based off of some Kirby's Epic Yarn elements. Heck, I didn't even get half of the things from Kirby's Epic Yarn, but I did get some. There's a snowboard section. I think that's supposed to be supersonic. A snowball coming out of there. That's Knuckles up there. Tails. Man, I was really bad at drawing back then. And then here we go with the better Snow Palace Zone. Snowball Avalanche. Knuck's Way. There's a hand that was supposed to help you go to higher sections. It got transported into Sweet Trinket Zone because I feel like it would have been better there. And this is the ice turrets. And the ice blowers. And the icy water. Wateropolis Zone, aka Watery Aqueduct Zone, with the water buttons and coral spikes and the bubbles that take you up and the sand loop-de-loop that was underwater but doesn't break for some reason, and the water cannons. Yeah, this had a lot going on in it. There was even a waterfall that curved, actually. I think you could just like go through that. Wow. Oh, this was the background of Watery Aqueduct Zone. I was working on it at first, but now I think this might actually be good. This is like some kind of water coliseum. Now I remember. It's not a castle. It's a coliseum. It's like a coliseum. It was originally a coliseum. But now a coliseum while also having aqueduct areas to help transport water to different ways. It was basically a coliseum and an aqueduct mixed in one. I know it doesn't sound like it works, but it works. But now, since it's abandoned, it's now just basically a fun water park. Cloud Puff Zone. This is supposed to be the boss, but I never wrote down the boss. Where Eggman just shoots electricity at you, and he'll go from left to right. And Cloud Puff Zone. This is actually the zone. This was the beta version of the Quad de Loop. That just looks awful now, don't it? And here's the electric box thing, going ahead and transporting you. I think Tails was actually stuck in there. And then there's a lightning cloud, and there's a fan. Stone Bone Zone. This is a zone I never actually told anybody about, because this one was actually supposed to be Sonic's trip to the underworld. Wow. Yeah, it even says the Nether right there. This is supposed to be the hardest zone ever. But I decided to scrap this zone because we don't need harder than usual zones. There's a freaking gun, cannon up there, spike ball that rolls from top to down. If you jump at certain points, you can get sucked into a tube that shoots you all the way back to the beginning. a lava fireball that you have to break to make sure you go through, and a freaking fire knife that looks like a lava bubble. And here we go with Obsidiopolis Zone. Yep, the rising lava, the conveyor belts. Did I put a conveyor belts in there? No, I don't. I don't think I did. The amethyst loop-de-loop, the water platforms. Yeah, if there was supposed to be water cannons that if you shoot water on lava, it'll turn into obsidian, and if you shoot lava on water, it'll turn into stone. It's kind of making a reference to Minecraft, and there was water balls that were on fire that you get hurt by. Wow, that was a weird idea. And here we go with this again, but now the diamond spikes are here. I don't know why I made that breakable, by the way. And there's a steam thing. And here we go with the City Office on Act 2. There was supposed to be certain speed bumps or like speed wheels that will go ahead and make you go a certain way, and you can't go back down there or to the side of there. It'll just keep on bumping you in that direction it had. Yeah, that's what's going to be in Obsidiopolis Zone to make you go a little bit faster than normal, even though there's already speed tubes. And this was supposed to be the pool of water. Yeah, there was supposed to be a water gun shooter that would fill up the pool of water. But if there's lava under it, you just can't walk. You just can't walk in it, pal. The gear gravel zone, probably the worst zone. Pools of acid, a slide for some reason, and building gear. Moving on, and here we go to zone assets. Here's the floor for Painted Meadow Zone. Here's the loop-de-loop for Obsidian Crater Zone. And here's the Candy Cane loop-de-loop for Sweet Trinket Zone. There will be certain times where that candy cane twists. So, actually no, it doesn't twist. You twist around on the loop-de-loop. Yeah, you automatically do that. You can jump off the loop-de-loop, by the way. Anyways, that is all this document has to offer. This document will be getting bigger, and I bet you it'll get bigger than usual. I really hope this goes far, because I'm really putting a lot of soul into Sonic Crystal Hue, especially while putting it alongside Element Kids, because Element Kids, oh boy, it's taking a lot of time to get that done. I'm gonna need more than just one helpful pair of hands to help me. I'm gonna need a lot of help on this one. Element Kids is gonna be something else, man. But now, getting back to Sonic, I'm really glad to have made this Sonic fan game, because if it wasn't for one of my friends, we would never have thought of Sonic for Platinum Chrome, which would have been Sonic 5, which would have been Sonic Crystal Hue. Now, granted, there are some zones that I don't remember from the original Sonic Platinum Chrome. Sadly, there were some scrapped zones that I did not keep record of, and if you know me, back then, I did not keep a lot of things. Hence, me not keeping the same freaking password for the original Creationality animations. Heck, man. You think I'd remember it. But I'm just glad to have made something that is related to Sonic. They even got to make a Sonic fan character. I remember I showed Raby the raccoon before. Yeah, that was one me and my friend thought of together. I'm so glad to have something original besides Element Kids and those other original characters. I want to have something that's like its own world that's original that you can play in. Not animate, because my god. Oh yeah, I did say Sophie Falls was going to have like an infinite section. Though, before I end this little live stream, I do want to go ahead and say a couple of things. Now, I'm really hoping there will be some ideas for the zones, because it takes me a long while to even think to make any Sonic level gimmicks and stuff like that. Like, take the Stationizer 2.0 from Sweet Trinket Zone. It took me a long time to think of that. So if you guys have any ideas for any of the zones I just mentioned, being Painted Meadows Zone, Technopolis Zone, Sweet Trinket Zone, Amber Forest Zone, Soapy Falls Zone, Watery Aqueduct Zone, Cloud Puff Zone, Royal Tundra Zone, Sandstone Desert Zone, Obsidian Crater Zone, Glassy Gearworks Zone, Excellent Stronghold Zone, and Crystallized Climax Zone, I'd love to hear them. Because it would make this game way better than what I think it would be. Especially going ahead and giving such creative ideas. Especially since that's what this is all based off of. My whole entire logo was based off of creativity. Anyways, that's the ending to this little live stream. So I want to go ahead and say thank you guys for watching. If it weren't for you guys, I would have never thought to go ahead and make a live stream again. I also forgot to say that... No, wait, did I say it? Oh yeah, I think I might have said it. No, I don't think I said it. If I did say it, please tell me. Please tell me in the comments, but I'm going to say it again anyway. I'm pretty sure this is like the second or third time I tried to live stream. On my original channel, Gamer6627, I tried live streaming, and boy did I not know how to live stream, and boy did I not know what I was getting into. Even though nobody came to the live streams, I'm really hoping people see this live stream. Even though, yeah, it is just a live stream. Now, let's actually get back to the ending. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment down below saying whether you like this video or not. And also don't forget to comment down below any ideas you want to have for these zones. Don't forget to share this video with a friend, because then they might subscribe. And don't forget to also subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell to make sure you guys never miss another one of these videos. And you always get a notification when a new video comes out. I'll see you guys in the next video or the next live stream. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. Now, wow, this is just like all